I had a question regarding checking the valve clearance on this Citroen Maserati C-114 engine. It's the same as any solid lifter cam engine. Just make sure it's cold and get around to rolling the lobes so that they're 90 degrees away from the lifter cup, and that gives basically on the heel of the cam lobe, and that'll give you an accurate clearance. I'm going to check the exhaust cam down here on this one right now, and this lobe, as you can see, is 90 degrees to the cup, so the clearance is at its maximum on the heel of the cam. And I'm shooting for 20 to 21 thousandths, so I'm using my feeler gauges here. I have basically a setup with 21 and 20. So just sliding it in, and you want to feel a light drag. That's a nice, what I call a normal 20. And if you can, of course, the 21 is a no-go. It won't go. 21 won't go. 20 slides nice, so that one's 20. Now I'll bump it around to get the next one coming out with a starter switch. If you've got a handheld electric starter switch where you can bump it. Bump this one up to where the lobe is 90 degrees. Again, give it a slide. There, that's a pretty, what I'd call a loose 20. And there's a 21 that is nice medium drag on a 21. So this one's 21 thousandths. Again, put the lobe up 90 degrees to the cam. 21 is a no-go. 20 is a loose 20. So we're somewhere between 20 and 21. And that's adjusting the lobes. The same thing would be done for the intake cam up there. And again, on my setup, I'm shooting for 10 to 11 thousandths. I know the book calls for 12 to 14, but there are other recommendations by some other experts, not me, have suggested that you could run the intakes a little tighter, basically increasing the duration of the intake a little bit. The exhaust valves, they are out at 20 to 22. So that's adjusting the, checking the clearance. And then of course if you have to adjust them, I've covered that before, by removing the cams, setting them in balance, lining up the timing marks. For instance here, the time in balance on this head, it being the right-hand passenger side cylinder head, the QG head as I call it, they're marked QG on the caps, or the B head. You can roll it around to get the cams in balance, and the timing marks should line up then. And being in balance on this side, the lobes will be pointing away from each other. End of exhaust stroke, it's basically top dead center of the piston, end of exhaust stroke, beginning of the intake stroke. So this one's going on exhaust now. And here comes the timing marks up that I've marked previously with white paint. And they went past a little bit, so I would reach under there with my flywheel hook and roll it back to line them up perfectly to get the load off of the different cam lobes so that the cams don't jump when you loosen the chain to remove them, to change the shims underneath these cups, follower cups. Those shims are the same as a Ducati motorcycle opening shim. The Ducati motorcycle uses the desmodromic valve system, and the opening shim is exactly the same shim as the Citroen Maserati. So you can go to your local Ducati shop and ask them for opening shims and get them in different thicknesses and sizes for about, I bought mine here not long ago for about $6 a piece. So that's the setup for getting after the valve clearances. And again, cold engine, so you're not working with anything that's been run in the last 12 to 24 hours.